heart attack, fast fatal heart impact, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and packs. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty, hello everybody. This is Kiru's show here. Now, whenever we last left off with this series, Mei had just found out that Deku is the Punisher. And Midoriya, yeah, he's not too sure what to do. For as long as she's at least known him, for these very few months, he's a very nice guy. And he actually does seem smart and well-intelligent. And whenever him and her have talked and argued about a little bit of things, it seems like he was in the right. But the whole guardian angel thing and, hey, I was brought back from the dead, that didn't really seem plausible, let alone possible. And she was, well, yeah, completely in disbelief. However, Midoriya suddenly just told her that he can try and prove it to her. But she just needs to, for right now, not turn him in. Otherwise, it's going to ruin what he's trying to accomplish. Her thinking that he is simply out for revenge. And Midoriya, he goes along with the rest of his knights, and he does get home. Whenever he does get home, he does actually have to walk in and set down his backpack. Mitsuki was aware that he's going to be spending more time at UA, and actually hanging out with that girl that he knows. Mitsuki's simply just thinking that that girl's his girlfriend, or at least one of them. Especially since the kid is pretty, well, built. And he always does seem to have that attitude. He doesn't care what a lot of people think, so she thinks that he's just that bad boy. And a lot of girls would probably be going for that. She doesn't really understand kids nowadays, though. It's all complicated and weird now. Anyways. Her suddenly just thinking that that's it. Midoriya has a plate on the table of food. And he does actually sit down and eat it. Before going to his room and simply doing one thing. He really hopes that this works. As he gets on his knees and brings up his hands onto his bed. And he does try and pray. Midoriya trying to do so. Before, with his eyes closed, he just says his guardian angel's name. And he does hear a voice in his head. Midoriya opening his eyes and jumping to his feet. Before looking around. She is not there. Her simply just asking exactly what Midoriya needs. And or if he is alright. Midoriya just explaining the situation. The friend he has found out that he's the Punisher, and she might turn him in. He needs some form of evidence that, well, you're real. She didn't really believe me. She kind of thought I was probably crazy. Ah yes, I see. Well, Izuku, if you reveal our existence to her, you can compromise everything, and possibly even yourself. No, I know her. She wouldn't do that to me. She's my, well, only friend, really. I've been a bit too busy doing all this to try and really even focus on it. But please, If she turns me in, then I will go to jail, and you're gonna have to find someone else to do your job. Since if I try and break out, I'll be considered a villain. And it will put me in a more compromised place. I see. Well, we will arrange something. I can at least offer you one piece of advice. Yeah, be more careful. And if you needed help, you should have asked. Are you okay? I'll be fine. I've been healing ever since I got back. And, well, I think at least the skin's patched over it. The thing is gonna burn and scar, yeah, but I don't really care. I was able to just cauterize it. So, thanks at least for trying. Midoriya then heading to bed. Not really getting a lot of sleep. And simply just beginning to draw out his own version of designs for that machine they want to build. And well, a few of these sketches he does have to tear out of the notebook and hide away, since they're not really UA standard, you could say. And Midoriya, he does head there the next day, and his angel so begins to talk with him, telling Midoriya that all the evidence he needs will be in his hands, and you simply need to ask. As Midoriya does see Mei before school. She's in here roughly an hour before school every single day. They do keep the support room locked, and usually the teacher is here to prepare things. But right now he's currently in his own office. And she's working on a project. Midoriya is just trying to think of a good way to explain this to her and surprise her. Midoriya is just thinking, if he has it all in his hands, then that's perfect. So let's at least try giving it a shot. Midoriya getting Mei's attention and trying to at least think for a second. As soon as she turns and looks at him, he thinks about what he's going to do. Before there's a loud sound, and a few things behind Midoriya fall down. Mei then is having her expression go from huh to what? Her expression being shock and awe. Midoriya confused as he simply does actually adjust his back, or at least move his shoulder blades, before turning around and seeing that he has wings on his back. Him then just looking at those in confusion, before they disappear. Midoriya is still looking at that. Mei simply just jumping up and running to Midoriya, before spinning him around. The back of his shirt has two holes poked directly where she thought they would be. But the wings are gone. They're not there. Her being confused and trying to ask Midoriya what that was. To which he doesn't really know. And well, yeah. This is whenever... what was his name? The support class teacher. He comes in and tries to figure out what all the ruckus was. And well, Midoriya doesn't really have a good answer. Simply just saying that he slipped and Mei helped him up. That doesn't really seem likely, since all the stuff around them, it's all on the ground. Midoriya then having to pick it up, as he actually does put this entire jumpsuit or his welding suit, basically his protective suit, he does actually just wear it all over his body the whole day, to hide the two holes in his back. And trying to explain to Mei that he's pretty sure that those were angel wings. And, well, she can't really confirm it. Simply just thinking, the guy was quirkless. And well, Yue did look into his public record. And she does actually try and think for a second. Whenever they are in the, well, school late at night, she does actually look around and begin to poke around Midoriya. She didn't turn him in. However, she wants to make sure that he is actually quirkless. And Midoriya, he agreed to help her do what she's about to do. As Midoriya picks the lock to Mr. Nezu's office, and they begin to look through files. Them finding Midoriya's. He is marked down as quirkless, and it's kind of interesting. Mr. Nezu wrote down in his file that the boy is very interesting, and his creations do seem to have some familiarity to them, that he feels like he has seen somewhere. However, he cannot pinpoint it. This being very confusing. As the two do leave, May wanted to see what was on her file too, only seeing that she's been marked down as being in numerous explosions already. The ones at her middle school that she calls from trying to build things, and so on and so forth. Now, with that out of the way, over the next few days, these two do begin to build things, and work together. May not turning him in, but, well, still trying to figure everything out. Apparently Midoriya's whole idea for a day is go to school, stay here late at night, work on some things, and simply whenever he does go to head home, you could say, he does go out and do vigilante work. And angelic work, you could say, since he does use that mark and immediately begin to run all over town, and briefly kill criminals, outrun the police, and usually outrun heroes, doing his best to avoid them, since the way he is now he'd probably kill one. By accident. Now, with that being said, Midoriya does do this for a while, and roughly about a month has passed. And well, things have changed a little bit. May has somewhat come around to Midoriya being the Punisher. While meanwhile, Midoriya himself has begun to try and master his abilities and secrets. He can't really use them at school. However, whenever he does need to, he does at least try and manifest some human tools. If he's missing a wrench, he simply creates a wrench, and acts like he had that in his pocket the whole time, beginning to try and understand his ability. And actually hearing about a chick in Class 1A that has the same type of power. That does sound interesting. And he does actually want to get a bit of notes on her power. One day actually walking up to her and asking her about it. Asking her if she's having any problems with her quirk or, well, the way she has to use it. He wants to take notes on it because he is quite interested in some other people's quirks, even though he does not have his own. Momo being confused, and looking at Midoriya, asking him if he's that guy that punched Ida during the entrance exam. To which he just says yeah. Her just simply asking him exactly what's he doing, well, here then. I don't think UA would allow that, right? No, actually, I'm in the support course. Completely different thing. But the guy was getting on me because I wanted to test some of my inventions during the entrance exam, instead of trying to show them off in the support class. Okay. But my quirk is a creation quirk. Okay. Can you tell me more about it? Her giving Midori an explanation, along with making a Russian nesting doll in her hand. And Midoriya simply just asking her exactly what is the biggest thing she has ever made. To which she goes on stating, a cannon. Midoriya actually kind of confused. For a second, he thinks about it. For a second, he thinks about it. If she created a rushing nesting doll out of her hand, and creating a cannon that big, simply just asking her if she has wardrobe malfunctions whenever she creates things that big. To which she gets a bit, well, embarrassed. Her face turning red and saying yes. Sadly, she does. And, well, she's tried talking to anyone. But her hero suits kind of works around it, usually, for the most part. Okay. Well, how about this? I can try and give you roughly a helping hand on that, and see what I can do. But, what is it? I believe that you can use hair follicles and other possible material that's thin enough to make your creations through. It's sort of a weird, complicated thing. I think it's something about hair follicles being the same as your skin. So your creations could just straight up pass through them, since it just sees that as an extra layer of skin, but I believe you should have some of those woven in your costume. In fact, I could redesign it for you. Momo is me just saying please. And thank you. Midoriya hearing a bit about that. A cannon. And from what he's heard her say, she also does need to know how exactly something is made. So Midoriya has an upgraded version of her own ability. Interesting. And well, Midoriya got to quick work, creating the outfit in less than 2 days, along with actually looking into materials he could use and make. Now, Momo did have to get some of her hair trimmings from whenever she was younger, and, well, she actually did have to cut her hair a bit, too, to make up for things that, well, they needed in the costume. And Midoriya was able to give her the new suit after 2 days, and she was a bit ecstatic. And Midoriya, he was getting to work on this new device. Him and May have been focusing on it for a very long time, and they believe that it's going to be somewhat operational. If they can test this thing out during the sports festival, well, then it's probably going to grant them a lot of money. And the whole thing about companies looking for your products, yeah, it's going to provide Midoriya with a lot of money if people do take this thing on. And, well, the whole weapon system's going to be different. They need to get some things put in and how to take some things off and out. And today, they got it finished. And, well, they're going to do a test run after school. However, whenever Midoriya is actually in the cockpit and testing this thing out, he does hear something and feel something as he looks up. And for a second, his eyes flash red. Midoriya's eyesight turning as he sees it. Everything around him looks white, and people do look darker. Somewhat confused, as most of the people who he see, they're either white or light gray. And Midoriya does actually look around, trying to understand what this is. Hearing that it's an ability his guardian angel is giving him, and he is going to need it for his current task. Demons are currently heading to the USJ, and they're going to kill everyone there. In fact, well, She believes that you are going to save them, punish those responsible. A very powerful demon will be there, and whenever you arrive, you need to kill him and take him down, since he is possessing a human. Now, Midoriya, hearing that, he immediately runs back into the support course room. Now, he simply tries to cause a bit of commotion, trying to ask the teacher if he can go somewhere real quick. Talk to Mr. Nezu, go to the principal's office. The teacher, not really too sure why Midoriya wants to go there, reluctantly letting him leave. And Midoriya, he goes off, running to the office as fast as he can, and simply running inside. The teacher isn't not there, so he runs into the teacher's lounge. As soon as he does get there, he does begin to try and talk with Mr. Nezu and the strange small man. Now, as soon as Midoriya gets there, he does actually begin to try and tell them, something is wrong, something is wrong. Something's going on at the USJ. Both of these two simply just staring at him. Before, Principal Nezu does actually ask the young boy exactly how does he know that. Midoriya not being able to come up with a good excuse. Midoriya just saying that he has a gut feeling. Something does not feel right about that. He feels like something's going on there. He might be in the support department, but he does always trust his gut. He had a bad feeling about today, and whenever someone mentioned the USJ, his blood ran cold. Now, both these two don't believe this young boy. However, All Might does want to go check it out, trying to give Aizawa a call. He does not answer. Calling again. He does not answer. Principal Nezu trying to call Mr. Aizawa on the phone. And, well, he does not answer. Now, with that being said, this is actually beginning to get a bit concerning. They're either doing rescue training or something is actually going wrong. As Ida actually does run into the room. And, well, he begins to shout off that there are villains at the USJ, and people are getting hurt. Well, Midoriya, hearing that, does actually immediately turn and go running, telling them that he's going to be there in a minute. The pro heroes and this tiny man being confused. Exactly what is that boy going to try and do? He is corkless. Principal Nezu running over to his desk and beginning to make calls, while All Might does try and calm Ida down. The young boy, well, he's shaking, and breathing very heavily, trying to sit him down and get him some water really quick. Meanwhile, back in the support course room, Midoriya immediately runs in. And while Mei is trying to finish up some designs on the mech, or at least some weapon system modifications, Midoriya simply just tells that he needs to go, now, jumping upwards into the seat. Her kinda confused, Midoriya pulling the cockpit closed, and the mech coming to life. Midoriya taking a few steps forwards, as everyone simply has to get out of his way, and pull their own projects out of the way, otherwise they're going to be crushed. Midoriya basically throwing the door off its hinges, and beginning to try and run out of the school. It's not going to work very well, and Midoriya barely got to the doorway before he smashed through them. And well, that was whenever Midoriya began to take off running, in the ginormous suit that he has. Now, he wanted to test out exactly what a mechanized suit could do, and how exactly it could affect hero work. The thing did seem like a good idea, And he did have similar ideas for something like this whenever he was doing vigilante work, before his angelic abilities. But it seemed like a far-fetched concept, something that might be out of the question. But for right now, it's about to be his saving grace. If he doesn't need to reveal himself, then that's perfectly fine. However, if he reveals himself here, then he's going to have to run and hide. It being known that the Punisher is a UA student, yeah, that would not really fly very well. Especially since Midoriya, he went over 1,000 kills now. Anyway guys, I do hope you guys enjoyed.